FSD Beta 10.11.2. Let's jump right into it. Release notes don't have anything substantial in them, so I'm not going to go through them today. We'll just go through our loop and see how it performs from here. We'll activate once the visuals kick in. And now. Moving up nicely, creeping up nicely. I'll give it some acceleration just to give it some confidence to get over here. Sees cars coming to the left. Looks like it wants to make this turn pretty wide. We have an opening after the second car, and then we can go. And it goes for it. Okay, a little slow, but then it accelerates and gets out there. Pretty good. I'll jump up to 30 miles an hour just to keep it consistent with what we've seen before and allow it to do its thing. It actually recognized that sign as a cone, which is actually interesting. Maybe maybe Tesla's actually listening. Maybe they're listening to us. They're listening to some other people, but they definitely don't seem to be listening to us all the time. So maybe they're listening now. Here we go. Coming up to the turn. It looks a little confused. If you look at the path planner, what it intends to do, slows down a little bit, takes the turn nicely. Pretty good, and a pretty good mile an hour, stays above 10 miles an hour, then takes off. Excellent job so far. Slows down here, still puts the turn signal on, doesn't go as wide, but does a good job. Good job here, staying center in the lane, then it wants to move over when cars come. I'm not a fan of that. I would prefer the car to stay to the right so it doesn't have to make a maneuver, an unnecessary maneuver, and assume less risk, if you think about a teenage driver. Good job so far following these cars at a good pace, 30 miles an hour, staying close to that as well. And now we're coming up to our unprotected left. We'll see how it goes. Again, look how far center this is versus the other cars. This is what the car needs to do, is it needs to take these lanes and make sure that it makes its own lane to the right and get over, and not have to wait for a car to force it to get over. So far, so good. Creeping up to the stop sign. Comes to a stop. No cars on the left. This only car on the right. And now we go. I'm giving it some acceleration. And then it takes it. So pretty good, but it still has some hesitation creeping out there. Once it gets out there, it seemed like it knew what it wanted to do. So that's great. But good job avoiding this truck that came narrowly close to us. So that was pretty good. There's also some construction up here. Let's see how it does avoiding these vehicles. Pretty good job. Sees pedestrians, anticipates what they're gonna do, which is great. This is the superhuman aspect of it. A little wide for my taste, going over the yellow line, but it was the right thing to do given the circumstances. Again, I think there's just scenarios where Teslas should, these FSD Beta should allow the owner, the driver, the operator to authorize certain maneuvers. But again, I digress. Slows down tremendously here, not sure why, but then it goes. But that's the superhuman nature of it, is that we want this car to be able to do things that humans can't, anticipate things that humans can't to save lives. But there seemed to be a little bit of hesitation creeping out of that left turn, that unprotected left. But then once it got out and I gave it some confirmation, then it went forward. And I'm okay with that. I'm okay with having to give some provisional consent for certain maneuvers. Okay, I'm okay with that. They just need the interface to be able to do it. A little icon, a little notification that says, hey, please give consent, please press accelerator to proceed. This is not dissimilar to what they did with the initial rollout of traffic light and stop sign control, where you had to confirm going through a stop sign. This is the infancy. As they build up, it'll get better and better, and they'll sort of take those training wheels off. But I'm okay with training wheels like that allow you to be able to authorize and give consent to, certain aspects or certain features or certain maneuvers that the car can do. All right. Coming up here, I also want to note that actually FSD this whole time was actually right. Several builds, this car has been trying to get into this right side. It's actually obeying this signage up here that says you have to be in this lane to go straight. And that's actually the correct maneuver to do. So I've been wrong. FSD has been right the whole time. So apologies to FSD. You've been doing the right thing. I haven't been paying attention, and most people on this road haven't been paying attention in that regard. So pretty good job. Sees this car wants to turn and maneuvers around it. preemptively. That's also great. A little hesitant here, but a good job recognizing, acknowledging that car wanted to turn left and going around it. So far, I'm pretty excited. I'm pretty happy with what we're doing. All the while in the car, it feels comfortable. It feels relaxed. It feels like someone else, a human, is driving. It doesn't feel like an erratic teen or some machine is driving. It does feel human-like in terms of the acceleration, deceleration, turning, all feels natural. The only difference is that, some instances you can see the path planner trying to decide what it wants to do, and sometimes the yoke changes direction based off of that. All right, but so far so good. It's done a good job. It's not really impacted traffic in a negative way. Has not impacted anyone's, lives or my life or anyone else in the car with us lives in a negative way. It's all been smooth, relaxed, calm, and very human-like. So that's very, very impressive so far. Still needs work. I want to preface that and caveat that still needs work. But so far, it's looking really good in the level of time that we've had with it. It's not going to go around this car, so I'm just going to wait and let other cars go around me and then proceed. This car is very eager to get around us, and that's fine. I'm okay with that maneuver. Railroad crossing, no problem. Pretty good. A little bit too far right here. I don't know what's happening. A little too far right. The cars behind us might not know what I'm going to do. So I'm going to give it some acceleration just to make sure it gets over where it needs to be. So that's not great. I want to flag that one. Didn't I flag it? There we go. Way too close to the yellow line with that pedestrian hanging out. And now I'm making a right turn. We're going a little bit further than we normally do. This is what I typically do manually. Again, turns are really, really calm, really natural. Good mile an hour here. And then tries to, again, center itself when it should bias to the left. We got to make a lane. We have to make a lane and commit to it and not make unnecessary maneuvers. And we reached our destination. Okay. So I'm not mad at that. That was a pretty good drive. I'm starting to get a little concerned with the evasive maneuvers over the double yellow lines. I think that's the only area of improvement where we can stand to either give consent to the driver to make the maneuver or make it in a less dramatic way, trying to evade pedestrians, trying to evade people opening doors, going way over the double yellow line, getting very close to oncoming traffic. It's going a little bit too fast. Maybe even going slower would help my level of confidence, ease my concern. But otherwise, no, it's been pretty solid, pretty good in terms of the build itself. But let me know what you think. Did you get 10.11.2? Did you get 10.11.1, which is a limited release? Let me know the difference that you see between the previous builds. Let me know if it's better for you in your car and in your region. Let me know in the comments. And until the next time, enjoy your day. Enjoy your Tesla.